we're working there.
Well, that's the thing, as they went through all the employees, like there's like a picture and a little eulogy and a story about every single one, except for the youngest person shot, who was a 24-year-old girl named Maggie Webb.
She broke up with him or something.
Maggie Webb was an employee of the Von Moore store.
Nice iPod.
Thank you.
I didn't know what that was. I was just like, I don't know.
Keith's
what
iPod
just
fell.
exploded. But, yeah, the 24-year-old girl, Maggie Webb, she's the only one that there's no pictures of her online anyplace. There's nothing about her. And she's the youngest victim, probably the closest one to his age that would have something to do with him. Although 24 and 17 probably still is beyond. I don't know.
Too far away.
And she was an employee of the store anyway. But I find it, I'm kind of intrigued by the fact that there's nothing written about her anyplace.
She's like she's a regular Josh Evans. She doesn't exist.
I was going to say she's a regular Christina Copeman that she would go for 2 years dead in her house that no one talks about.
I didn't even recognize that name when you just said.
I don't think I said it before even. You couldn't hear what was written on my page across the room.
I try, but you know.
As Vanessa notes in the chat room, his suicide note is on thesmokinggun.com.
Yeah, his suicide note is kind of lame. He talks about being a piece of...
Oh, man. He's still shooting spitballs at the kid.
But, okay,
lame-o.
I don't want to say he was... I mean, it's not like that. I mean, kid's a dork.
He gives his last will and testament.
He's a nerd.
He gives his car back to his mom. He says his friends could take whatever he owns.
It's a legally binding will, yeah.
Didn't he say in it, like, I got to get out of here as soon as I can, but I'm going to take a couple of these jerks with me?
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah, like I said, when I say it's lame, it's like he doesn't give any sort of inkling as to why or anything like that. Other than like I'm a waste, I'm a bum. Whatever.
He's going to be famous. Didn't he say he was going to be famous?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he did mention that.
He just wasn't having 100% fun anymore.
He's famous now. We mentioned him,
and he's got the same name as a character in Jericho.
I know. Vito's mom is famous then too, by that logic.
Did you just out Vito's mom's last name?
No.
Yeah, Mom.
Logic.
Vito's is her first name, Mom is her last.
Actually, Vito, his last name is Samam.
Let's see. What are the things that I wanted to talk about? Ricky Hatton is gone. At 3 different times this week, I woke up in the middle of the night saying, I got to remember that for the show tomorrow, and didn't, and I don't know what the 3 things were. So much like when I was a young kid, I'm going to start keeping a notebook next to my bed. Because, when I was younger, it was important to leave a notebook next to my bed, because I was going to write lyrics for the big song. It was going to be really important. Or maybe a poem, because I'm a real hipster. But, 3. And it was, so I got to get a journal, because I'm telling you, I had really great ideas for the show. So I was like, oh man, I got to remember this for the show tomorrow. I'm really be intrigued to see that, because I'm sure that the stuff when I would read it the next day would be, like, almost unintelligible. I was like, hey, friend, and then the dance with the, dog smell. That was great.
Well, when Keith reads off your notebook when you're actually awake and conscious and writing in it, it's like a 3-word description of what you're going to talk about. It already seems like you're unconscious.
Your favorite show, Seinfeld, there's a great episode where he wakes up in the middle of the night and he writes the Flaming Globes of Ithaca. And he thinks it's going to be the funniest thing in the world. And it's only till the end of the episode he realizes what it says. And when he finally figures it out, he's just like, wait, that doesn't even make sense.
What is it?
They show Larry David on some science fiction movie when he's sleeping, yelling, the Flaming Globes of Ithaca. And like, Larry wakes up out of his sleep. And, Jerry wakes up out of his sleep and writes it down because he thinks it's going to be so hysterical. By the way, I have a game planned for next week called the Flaming Globes of Ithaca.
Oh, it's going to be the funniest thing we've ever done? On the show, in the history of the show?
Yeah.
What's wrong? Don't be mad. You give me like an angry look. You mad?
No, whatever, bro. It's cool.
Wow. Right.
Actually, The Flame Trees of Ithaca is a book. I think I got that confused. And it wasn't Seinfeld. It was Masterpiece Theater. The one with Cookie Monster.
I thought it was played in Master P's Theater during an episode of Cribs. You actually watched it.
I don't even know what that means.
Master P and Little Bow Wow, right? Is that a song?
Oh.
No, Little Romeo.
Little Romeo. My bad.
Lil Bow Wow would be Snoop Dogg's nephew.
Is it really?
Lil Bow Wow, obviously.
I didn't know that they were together.
That makes sense. Now I get what that means.
He's the Lil Bow Wow.
Lil. Like Lil Abner.
God.
Lil Abner.
Such an Abno.
Did you hear they're curing sickle cell anemia?
Oh, I forgot about that. And that was done with the... with stem cells, right?
Great segue. Oh, I know. I don't bother with those segues.
I didn't know if it was because he said that, or that as soon as he said it, I immediately started laughing. Like, for some reason, that's a funny story to me.
Sickle cell.
Oh, I didn't even. I didn't get the connection.
I'm laughing with joy. They're really curing that.
Yeah, they are. And
What is
there was no segue joke in that at all.
What is sickle cell?
Sickle cell anemia is when you have an iron deficiency in your blood. Sickle cell anemia is where the cells where the iron would adhere to in your was it the hemoglobins or the red platelets? I don't remember which one it is.
Wow.
They're actually shaped like they have a sickle type shape to them, and that's why the iron can't adhere to them. It's a genetic disorder linked to those from descendants from Africa.
Could white people get the disease?
Can, but very, very
Well,
unlikely.
the important thing is that they're working on a cure for one disease that is like an inheritable, potentially fatal disease, and they're curing it in mice, which was unheard of before. They're doing it through stem cells.
Is that white mice?
Yeah, probably, I would guess. But, I mean, the fantastic part is that they're generating these stem cells without having to generate them from embryos. So they're, like, taking it from cheek matter and implanting it into other... They're not making babies or
Hey,
killing
who just
them.
pinched my
or-
butt?
So we don't.
Hey, doctor, come back.
So they don't have to kill babies.
That's the idea. So you can circumvent the morons who are against using embryo cells.
I would love an egg sandwich right now.
Are people dying from that disease?
Of course.
Yes.
Doesn't
Large.
What's her name? Like Chili or T-Boz from the one of the two girls that's still left from TLC has
Sickle cell?
has sickle cell.
It is,
I don't know if it's the T or the C.
The
I think it's
African American
tea.
community is plagued with it.
Well, God bless the scientists that created that. God bless.
Sickle cell anemia?
Why would
Bless
you?
that
Why would
scientist.
you?
Created the vaccine, hopefully. They're saying that they have a vaccine.
Oh, they are. Wait, when did you hear that? On the show a couple seconds ago.
The good news is that it cures that. The bad news is it gives you AIDS.
It makes you addicted to malt liquor. Those are the two problems that comes from it. In Brooklyn this week, an 18 and 19-year-old duo got in trouble for counterfeiting. They were passing phony bills at the bank. The 18-year-old worked at the bank, so probably wasn't the smartest way to go. And the way that they did these counterfeit bills is they scanned bills on their computers and printed them on an inkjet and cut them out and deposited them. So congratulations, the criminals of the week, the masterminds of the week.
There was a guy that tried to deposit $1 million bill into a Georgia bank a couple of weeks ago.
Really? Yeah, I heard
he made
about
$1 million bill and tried to deposit it.
And-
And then when the teller said, "Hold on a minute," and he tried to open an account with it, and they kept him sitting there for like 45 minutes, and he waited there instead of just deciding to get up and walk out. And
Were you going to walk out on $1 million?
Well, the guy didn't know $1 million bill didn't exist. He
Well,
just made one
what's
up.
the largest currency?
I think it's $1,000.
$1,000.
I think there's a
Gotta be-
$1,000
it's gotta
bill.
be 10,000
Definitely
at
more than
least. It's gotta be
1,000. There's $10,000.
There's a $10,000 bill?
Absolutely.
I think there's only 1,000. Let's check that out.
Go to thecurrencygame.com. It
Or the
definitely
U.S. Mint.
No, not really.
The U.S. Mint, go to.
Yeah,
I think there's 1,000. I don't think it goes over
I
1,000.
guarantee you there's a $5,000 and $10,000 bill.
Really?
You know what? Why don't you turn this into a game right now to end the show? Whose picture is on what bill?
Abe Lincoln is on the highest
All
bill.
of them is on every single one of them.
I think I could get that right. I think I could get that right.
Okay.
George Washington is on the 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Abe Lincoln is on the 5.
We're talking about 500s and above. Bills that
Alexander
people don't
Hamilton's
see.
on the 20.
Mr. Burns.
10.
Game over.
The 10?
Yes.
Andrew Jackson's on the 20. Dawson from Dawson's Creek. The 50 is some guy.
Grant.
Franklin's on the 100. And that's it. That's the highest bill.
No, 1,000. It goes up to 1,000.
Yeah, but I'll never see
It definitely goes up to 10, maybe even
I think it's
100,000.
1,000. I think it's 1,000.
I
Me too.
guarantee. I guarantee.
We'll see if Chris is wrong.
Federal Reserve notes are the only U.S. currency issued today. Federal Reserve notes were initially issued in denominations ranging from 5 to 10,000.
Okay.
Brian, spot on. Spot on as he said 10,000.
But they don't tell us that it's anything different.
The
They said it-
$1,000 bill is the largest denomination printed since 1946.
Okay. The 100 note has been the largest denomination printed since 1946.
Oh, okay. Well, then that doesn't count.
You're going to tell me that any $500 bill is over 70 years old if you touch it?
In 1969, all notes greater than 100 were retired because of declining demand.
Ooh.
But if you still
69.
have one?
They exist,
If you still have one, like, can you cash it in?
of course. If you're
Probably,
if
yeah.
you're a coin collector and you have like an 1853 quarter, you can